This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Hey, y'all. Happy Saturday. It's so good to see y'all. I'm glad I made it on time. We're out at the lake. So we're going to go over what we can today. I'm going to try to keep it at about an hour and a half so I can get back out to the lake with me family. I'm so glad y'all are here with me. It's good to see you, Sam Brown, Abellis, Lori Ann, Anna, Edith, One Sunny Day. Good to see you, Hannah UK, Tom. This happened 40 miles from my house. It's a huge case out here, and everyone here is very familiar with it. It seems like a lot of people on YouTube know about it as well. So I, I, I don't remember the case off the top of my head. I'm wondering if it's one I'm thinking about where, like, supposedly the man said that the wife got attacked by an owl and died, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to learn about it with you guys, and I was hoping you guys could help me. Hio Sandra, my bestie, has made us like a fantastic timeline, and she got everything together for us because she's just so darn sweet and amazing, and I really appreciate her. Anna, it's good to see you. Sam, I hope you get better. I don't know what's going on yet. Cindy from sunny South Florida, good to see you. Edith, Ali X, Tony, good to see you. Such a nice family here. Last night, I commented on Grizzly True Crime, and someone was so nasty, rude, and mean. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I hope it wasn't Giselda. I don't think she's mean, usually. Southern Cat's good to see you. Shadow, good to see you. I almost didn't see your shadow there. Hey, Abellis, my love. Oh my goodness. Cindy out the gate gifting 5 memberships. I'm not going to be able to see who those went to because I came in too darn late. So I'm sorry about that. But thank you for gifting 5 memberships. If you were gifted from Cindy and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Cindy thank you. And I'm going to grab this here crazy train and we're going to take it to Speculation Station. Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate that, Cindy. That was so sweet of you. It's so nice of you. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Scrolling all the way up. Jenny Jen, good to see you. Victoria, good to see you. Bad girl, good to see you. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. If you try to take a Midol, that helps. Like even for men, it'll get rid of migraines quick. It works, but I wouldn't listen to me if I had a migraine because Lord knows I would annoy myself. So please take care of your migraine. Lori Ann, good to see you. Sam Brown, I hope you're okay, sweetheart. So I'm sending prayers for everybody in chat. Y'all got, my goodness, a lot going on. I'm so sorry for everything y'all got going on. Okay, so we're going to start at what came out most recently, which was a grand jury indictment yesterday. And then I'm going to pull up this wonderful information that my lovely friend has sent us because she made an amazing timeline. If you guys need a timeline or something like that, Hio is your girl. She does spreadsheets and things. My goodness, it's amazing what she does. Miss Kimmy, good to see you. Thank you, Lori. Oh, really? That's so sad. I hope it's not like the moderators or Grizzly that's being mean. I would hope not. Yeah, that's what we need to remember. It's just a loser who wants to be better than everyone else online. Online, you can be anything. There's a lot of people that come in and they get excitement in their day just from talking shit to somebody. It's really sick. Like, why? I don't know. Some people like it. Like, you could be the sweetest person on planet Earth and they would still come in and fuss at you about something. Ain't nobody perfect, but we don't got to be mean about it. You know what I mean? You came from the beach too? Aw. All right. So this came out yesterday, and we're going to start with it. So again, I don't know about this case. I'm going to learn it with you guys, but I figured that, or I was talking to Hio. I was actually going to start all the way back at the beginning, but I figured that y'all, well, she figured that y'all would want to see, basically what just came out as far as the indictment and then a press conference that was held last night, and we're kind of worked backwards from there. Hey, SD. Some of her moderators are power hungry. Just ignore them. Oh, wow. I hate that. Like, she's got a really big channel and she's doing things over there. I mean, but some people, I don't know, it just gets to their head. I look at any kind of all of this is just such a blessing. You guys being here every day. The fact that I have a channel and anybody wants to listen to what little old me has to say at all whatsoever is just a blessing. It really is. And even if you get really big like that, you should always look at it as a blessing. And if it wasn't for your subscribers and your people that come into, your chats and things, you wouldn't have anything. So I'll never understand stuff like that. I hate it. The only reason that we're able to do this is because of you guys. And so people need to make sure that y'all know that. Hey, Shraddha and Jill. All right. Enough talking, enough jaw jacking. This is from the 12th Judicial. Let me scooch over on this bed here so I can see a little better. Can't see. I can't see. Okay. 12th Judicial District Grand Jury, Alamosa County Courthouse in Colorado. The people of the state of Colorado versus Barry Morphew. Morphew? And as the defendant, and then it gives us a bunch of names. His count 1, homicide in the first degree. Okay. Of the 2024-2025 term of the 12th Judicial District Grand Jury in the year of 2025, the 2024-2025 grand jurors chosen, selected, and sworn in the name and by the authority of the people of the state of Colorado upon their oaths present the following described acts, all done contrary to the form of statutes in such case made as provided and against the people and dignity of the people of the state of Colorado, stated in the count attached hereto. What have you done against the dignity of the people in the state of Colorado, Mr. Barry Morphew? Morphew? Anders, good to see you. Anders, happy International Scrotum Day to you as well. Tom, good to see you. Barry is a super narcissist. Oh, let me turn my comments on so y'all can be seen. I know a couple of guys in the construction industry that worked with him. How interesting. I hate narcissists. I'm guessing Barry's defense is going to say that other hunters in the area did have BAM illegally. Oh my goodness, what is BAM? Other hunters in the area. I'm curious. Okay. So, Annie E. Kelly, District Attorney for the 12th Judicial District of the state of Colorado, in the name and by the authority of the people of the state of Colorado, informs the court of the following offense committed or tribal in the 12th Judicial District of Colorado. All right, so let's find out what happened. Count 1, homicide in the first degree after deliberation, F1. On or about May 9th to May 10th, 2020, in or tribal in the state of Colorado, Barry Morphew unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation and with the intent to cause homicide of a person other than himself, caused the death of Suzanne Morphew in violation of the section. Probable cause for count 1 is as follows. At 5:46 on May 10th, 2020, Mother's Day? Oh my God. Mother's Day Sunday, Suzanne Morphew was reported missing to police by her neighbor. The last known person to see her alive was her husband, Barry Morphew. So we already got a problem. Why is the neighbor reporting her missing instead of her husband? BAM is the tranquilizer he was using in his tranquilizer darts in his gun. He claims he was shooting deer around his property with it. I didn't even know you could do that. Like, what are you going to do? Trank the deer and then move it away? Like, I thought only I could see maybe using one for a bear, but that's weird. That makes this more interesting. Red Moon, you snuck past me. Hey, beautiful. Hey, beautiful. Abellis, thank you for saying that to Anders. He seems very excited about National Scrotum Day. Investigators reported, I apologize, investigators responded to the Morphew residence at the address in Colorado to investigate the missing persons report. The house was locked and Suzanne Morphew was not home. Her vehicle was in the garage. Her redacted vehicle was in the garage. There was no signs of forced entry and her bike was missing. Later that evening, her bike was located down a hillside off a dirt road between her house and Highway 50. The bike was located less than a mile from the Morphew home. On May 14th, 2020, her bike helmet was located 10 meters off the side of Highway 50, approximately 1.5 miles west of the Morphew home, and approximately uh, about 3/4 of a mile west of where her bike was located. Barry Morphew, which is her husband, was interviewed and told police that he set his alarm and woke up at 4:30 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. He told police that he left at 5 a.m. on May 10th, 2020 for a pre-planned work trip in Broomfield, Colorado. According to Barry, Suzanne was still asleep in bed when he left the house at 5 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. He told police she planned to ride her bike that day. Barry Morphew stated that upon arriving in Broomfield that morning, he checked into a hotel before leaving shortly after for the job site. He told police that he received a call around 5 p.m. on May 10th, 2020 from his neighbors while physically at the Broomfield job site. The neighbor told Barry Morphew that his daughters were concerned because they could not reach Suzanne all day. Barry instructed the neighbors to check the house and specifically to look for the bike. The neighbors reported to Barry that neither Suzanne nor her bike were at the house, and Barry then instructed them to call the sheriff. Okay, so why is he instructing them to call the sheriff and not calling the sheriff himself? Red Moon, oh my goodness. Thank you so very much for that super sticker. I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Thank you so very much. Let me access our live stream so I can see what it looks like because I like to look at them. Excuse me. Get get gup. Get gup. It says it's got a little, what is that, a hippo? It says number one, get gup. I like that. I like that. It's so cute. It's so cute. Trying to distance himself from the house, in my opinion. Probably. But like, I would think you would look more suspicious by not calling your, like, even if you're out on a job site, why wouldn't you, like, I would think we would call simultaneously, like, hey, I'm at a job site in another town. The neighbors have said my wife is not there. Can you please go check? You know what I mean? Hey, Hilsandra, thank you so much for everything you did to help us today with this case, getting all this information together. I really appreciate that. And I love you so very much. And I appreciate you, Red Moon. And SD said Barry had thought he got away with the homicide until searchers who were looking for another body found Suzanne's body instead. I'm sure Barry crapped bricks on that day. He probably did. I love your face, my lovely. If you want to come up, you know how. Did Barry nearly get away with it? Evidently, because I think this has been like 5 years in the making, from what I understand. Anders. Okay. Okay. Police interviewed one of Barry's employees scheduled to assist him with the Broomfield job. The employee told law enforcement that the employee and Barry were not planning to leave for Broomfield until the evening hours of May 10th of 2020. They were supposed to drive together. Instead, Barry left without telling the employee. Barry called the employee at approximately 11:18 a.m. and informed that employee that he had left without them. When the employee arrived in Broomfield on Sunday evening, the employee noticed that Barry Morphew had failed to bring the proper tools with him for the job, and the necessary materials for the job had not yet arrived at the job site. So he's already looking sus. Your wife's missing. You left super early to go to the job site and you ain't even got the correct tools to do the job. Bob the builder came in that moment and said, "Can we build it?" And they said, "No, we can't," because he didn't bring the daggum tools. All right. Better every day. Aw. She is coming in hot with the documents again. On Mother's Day. Right. What on earth? Okay. Review of the camera. Okay, yeah. Review of the cameras at the hotel and nearby businesses revealed that Barry Morphew was in the Broomfield area for approximately 9 hours and 45 minutes. Of those hours, he spent less than one half an hour at the job site. Instead, besides two brief visits to the job site area, electronic evidence and cameras from businesses showed him driving around to various locations and discarding unknown items in separate trash cans. Oh my God. Got another step in here. Hotel footage then showed Barry Morphew arriving back at his hotel room and remaining inside the room from 12:34 to 5:55, inconsistent with his statement to police. He was in the hotel and not at the job site when he received the call about his wife Suzanne Morphew being unresponsive and missing. Excuse me. I mean, I would think that was enough probable cause to arrest him there. He is a tool. I'm glad they finally got enough on him. Me too. I don't know. I guess it's not enough probable cause, but that's a lot. That's a lot. Da, da, da. Where were we at? Okay. In early interviews with Barry Morphew, he told law enforcement that his marriage to Suzanne Morphew was, quote, the best, unquote, and that the two had a, quote, wonderful weekend, unquote, together. When Barry was asked whether Suzanne would say anything different about their relationship, Barry stated no. Barry Morphew's statements about his marriage to Suzanne were inconsistent with other witness accounts and evidence located. Specifically, investigators learned that Suzanne confided in people that she was unhappy in the marriage in the weeks and months leading up to her disappearance. She discussed plans to divorce Barry with her close friend. She maintained documented notes of problems in the relationship recovered from electronic devices and the physical search of the Morphew home. Suzanne Morphew had been having a secret affair with an old acquaintance who lived out of state. She communicated with him daily over LinkedIn and WhatsApp. Suzanne's last known electronic message to anyone was to this person on May 9, 2020 at 2:11 p.m., just 32 minutes before Barry Morphew returned home that day. Oh, Lord. So it sounds like he might have caught her messaging somebody else. And since I don't know who said it, I think it was Tom said, or SD said that he was a narcissist. Maybe he couldn't handle that and snapped. I'm wondering. He poured bleach in the washing machine? Oh, hell no. And the BAM that game rangers and other officials had for their duties was accounted for. Barry was the only person who had a prescription of BAM that wasn't accounted for in the county. Wow. So that's on top of all this other stuff. Oh my gosh. Another little man whose ego couldn't handle losing control. Exactly. They found Bam in his wife's bones when they recovered her body, not just in the bloodstream, but the bones. Oh my God. Hey, Roxanne, thank you for being number 26 on the thumbs up. If y'all don't mind, please hit the thumbs up. Okay. An overall timeline of the week of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance shows that the disappearance coincided with her daughter, the only other occupant of the Morphew residence, leaving on a pre-planned road trip out of state. Because of this, Suzanne and Barry expected to be alone at the residence starting May 5th until either late in the day on May 10th or into May 11th. Suzanne drove the daughter to Gunnison, Colorado on May 5th, 2020 to depart with her sister and friend on the planned road trip. After May 5th, Barry and Suzanne were alone in the house. A forensic download of Barry's cell phone revealed that Barry had deleted a text chain with Suzanne from which an image of a single text remained. A screenshot of this single text message was saved onto Barry's phone on May 6th, 2020. That image revealed a text from Suzanne that stated, "I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and what you have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly." So that was from Suzanne to Barry. Mm. Hey, Orange. I wonder if Rex Heuermann could have used this BAM. Maybe, but I think Rex Heuermann's objective was to torture and torment these women. So I would think, unfortunately, and trigger warning, sadly, he would have wanted them a lot awake and alert for the whole experience. Excuse me. He was a big game hunter. They could have divorced, yeah. These unalivers are all horrendous things, not even humans, just things. I agree. On May 11th of 2020, authorities commenced a search of the Morphe residence that spanned several days. The state of the residence and vehicles showed no signs of a break-in or intruder. Even with no signs of a break-in or intruder, law enforcement collected items of potential evidence in DNA swabs. DNA analysis of the swabs collected produced several DNA profile mixtures consistent with what would be expected in the common areas of a home or a vehicle. The mixture profiles were processed through an offender database and were compared to the profiles of known individuals who may have been present in the vehicles or the residence. The results did not lead to any stranger or intruder suspects. An expert DNA analysis testified that law enforcement provided analysis with one of the partial profiles developed from the glove box of Suzanne Morphe's vehicle for further investigation using a, quote, keyboard search, unquote. This allowed for additional comparisons to profiles and more databases with less stringent quality control standards than the National DNA Index System for the limited purpose of creating possible investigative leads. That expert further testified that there were matches to outside databases nationwide. The term match used by DNA analysis does not mean identical. Rather, match only means that there were other profiles that could not be excluded at the limited number of loci available from the partial profile comparison. The expert explained that she then compared the matches from the database to the partial profile from the mixture on the glove box and excluded those out of state profiles as not originating from the same contributor in all but 3 instances. Finally, the expert explained that just because the profile from the database matched at the limited locale available for the comparison, it did not mean that any of the people from the out of state profiles were the same person that contributed the partial profile or to the mixture on the glove box. Law enforcement investigated those 3 partial matches obtained from 3 separate out of state sources and found no connection to the case. Lord. Law enforcement located a locked firearm safe in the garage during the search of the Morphe residence. Inside that firearm safe, law enforcement located a dart rifle or tranquilizer rifle positioned toward the front of the safe. Law enforcement also found packages of Dart brand tranquilizer darts in the gun safe. The packages of darts included capped hypodermic needles inside of them, which were designed to load the darts. Law enforcement found one of these needle caps in the dryer after the dryer's contents were removed. Law enforcement also found men's shorts among the contents of the dryer that were removed prior to finding the needle cap. The shorts appeared consistent with the shorts of Barry was seen with the shorts Barry was seen wearing on video May 9th of 2020, less than 1 hour before he returned to the Morphe residence. No tranquilizer formula was located during law enforcement search of the home and vehicles. So this is where we get into the tranquilizer dart. Hey, Max. Oh yeah, thank you for hitting the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, Max. I put if mine get to hurting, I'll put BC powder on it and it usually makes it go away. All right. Barry's electronic
devices were also analyzed. A download of the information infotainment system on Barry's truck recovered telematics data showing the location and activity of his truck at certain times on May 9th and May 10th of 2020. A download of Barry's cell phone showed additional location information. Based on data from his cell phone, Barry returned to the residence at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th. The data did not show his phone or truck leaving the residence again until the morning of May 10th. 2020. The download of Barry's cell phone registered events related to his phone. An expert forensic analysis determined that some of these events were in fact Barry's phone being turned off during the time frame of May 9th to May 10th of 2020. Turning off a cellular device effectively disables its ability to record location information. Specifically, the forensic analysis noted that Barry's phone download showed it was turned off at 2:47 on May 9, 2020, only a few minutes after he arrived home at the residence where Suzanne sent her last electronic communication to anyone. At approximately 10:17 on May 9th, the phone was turned back on. Barry's cell phone was again turned off at 4:32 on May 10th prior to him leaving the residence on his trip to Broomfield, Colorado, and was not turned on again until 5:37 a.m. when location information showed him on the road already in the area of Johnson Village, Colorado. Testimony established that the times Barry Morphew turned off his phone corresponded to periods of time of significance in the case where location information was consequently unavailable. Similarly, further analysis of the information from Barry's infotainment system, the telematics on his truck, showed an irregular gap in recorded activities, specifically from 3:49 a.m. to 8:10 a.m. on May 10th. There is no recorded data registering on Barry's infotainment system. An indication of no truck activity from telematics is inconsistent with other facts developed from Barry's phone, surveillance footage, and Barry's statements about his activities on May 10th, 2020. Specifically, telematics data showed Barry Morphew arrive at his residence at 2:43 on May 9th of 2020. Then it registered various other activities throughout the afternoon at the residence until it ceased at 9:52 p.m. on May 9th. The telematics data then showed activities resume then at 3:25 a.m. to 3:49 a.m. on May 10th. The GPS at a GPS location consistent with his driveway. Barry reported to law enforcement that he was asleep during that time frame. From 3:49 a.m. to 8:10 on May 10th, 2020, the infotainment system or telematics did not register any data, despite the fact that Barry's cell phone indicated the device was in Johnson's Village at 5:37 a.m. on the date, and Barry reported being in his truck traveling to Broomfield at the time. When recorded telematics data became available again, the records from the infotainment system downloaded at 8:10 on May 10th corresponding GPS coordinates showed that Barry Morphew had already arrived at the area of Broomfield, Colorado. This gap in registered data is inconsistent with the pattern of telematics data captured in the days and weeks leading up to this event. So, how in the crap did he get his truck not to record where he was going? They got a lot of stuff from Stefan's car. We're going to, relating it to Maddie Soto's case. They got a lot of stuff from the telematics data on the vehicle from Stefan's car. Like how did he turn that off and make it to where it didn't record? Hey Vero, good to see you. Dare Stumble. I like that name. I really do. Thank you for being here. Crystal, there you are. Hey Crystal, good to see you, sweetheart. He said he was squirrel hunting or something like that in his house. Wow. That's interesting. Squirrel hunting, huh? Okay. Phone records for both Suzanne and Barry were analyzed by expert investigators. The FBI CAST team analyzed phone records for both Barry and Suzanne to determine location information and device usage related to their cell phones. In Suzanne's phone records, there was no indication of any other okay. Sorry, let me start over. In Suzanne's phone records, there was no indication of any user initiated activity after the time Barry returned home at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th. Suzanne's cell phone device continued to connect through RTT data with the cell tower that services the Morphew home throughout the night of May 9th into the early morning of May 10th. These automated data connections, however, were consistent with the tower reaching out to the phone to determine its location and not initiated by the user of the device. So basically, the cell phone tower is reaching out to the phone. It wasn't her using the phone like to get on the internet or make a phone call, and the phone trying to connect with the tower to get that internet power. After 4:23 a.m. on May 10th, Suzanne's phone ceased to connect at all, ever again. Just 8 minutes later, Barry's cell phone data showed his phone ceased to connect starting at 4:31 a.m., consistent with the cell phone downloading showing it powering off at 4:32. Suzanne's cell phone never registered on any towers other than the tower consistent with the residence from the time Barry returned home at 2:43 on May 9th to the time it ceased activity altogether at 4:23 a.m. on May 10th. Despite searches for the device, Suzanne's cell phone was never found. So basically, they're saying that Suzanne never left the house. Like, she's supposed to go out riding her bike, right, that morning, and the bike is found, the helmet's found, but she's not found way up the road or wherever she was at. But her cell phone never shows any other activity. So her cell phone's never found, and you would assume therefore that she had it, and wherever her phone is wherever she is. But she didn't take the phone was never taken with her on the bike ride. So it makes it look even more suspicious. They have his truck fairly close to where the body was recovered. He had a trailer with a bobcat on it. They think he may have used the bobcat to bury her. Oh, wow. Real McCoy, it is hot everywhere. And summer did just get started. That's why we had to go to the lake today. Like, I couldn't even do it. Hey, all I need is Jesus. I love summer. The hotter, the better. I love tanning and natural vitamin D. I like natural vitamin D, but I don't like the hot. I'd much rather be cold because I'll get under a blanket. I'll crochet me a blanket and get under it. But getting hot, it's hot. It's hard to cool off once you're hot. I'd much rather be cold. Today is summer solstice. Oh, wow. First day of summer. And his daughters support him. Oh, my goodness. Thanks for covering Suzanne's case. I'm so glad he was arrested finally. Me too. It gets 100 there. It gets 100 here sometimes, but not a lot. All right. Police interviewed people that knew Barry prior to his move from Indiana to Colorado in 2018. These witnesses told law enforcement that Barry was deer a deer farmer, something in Indiana. Several individuals told law enforcement that Barry used a specific tranquilizer called BAM to sedate and transport deer on his deer farm. Barry admitted to using BAM in both Indiana and Colorado. Specifically, he admitted to using BAM in Colorado as recently as April of 2020, stating that at the time he had tranquilized a deer from the breezeway of the Morphew residence. On September 22nd of 2023, human remains were found in and around a shallow clandestine grave in Sagahue County, Colorado, near Highway 17. The remains were found a few hundred feet down a dirt road off of Highway 17. This location was less than an hour south of the Morphew residence by main highways. The remains were determined to be those of Suzanne. The majority of her bones were recovered. Many of the bones were significantly bleached. Along with Suzanne's bones, law enforcement recovered a cancer port and items of clothing, some of which were consistent with bike clothing Suzanne was known to wear. There was no visible post-mortem trauma observed. How were her bones bleached? Hey, Sarah, good to see you, my love. Hey, Content, good to see you. I don't understand how her daggum bones were bleached. A board certified forensic anthropologist, a botanist, and an entomologist all analyzed the remains, and several observations were noted. There was a distinct lack of bug activity, which was inconsistent with the remains having decomposed at that location. Oh, wow. The clothing items lacked evidence of decomposition, which was inconsistent with Suzanne Morphine wearing the bike clothes at the time her body decomposed. Additionally, there was a lack of animal predat- predation on the bones. There was only a very small amount of des- des- desiccated, desiccated. Lord have mercy. Y'all pray for me. Desiccated soft tissue found on a few of the bones, and there was no hair mass located. All these features would have been expected if this had been the original grave site where decomposition had occurred. The forensic anthropologist opined that based on these factors, it was unlikely Suzanne decomposed from a fresh body to a skeleton at this location. So, where did he put her body? Yeah, he moved her after she decomposed, and that is sick. Where was her body originally? Allegedly, the son, she was left in a flat, open, grassy field in a remote valley. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The area where her remains were found in a remote, grassy valley. Huh. Yeah, he kept her somewhere before he moved. I wonder where. Hey, Blue Jay, good to see you. And that's after decomposition. He bleached her bones. Yeah, he didn't even let her rest in peace. And considering the BAM references, it makes me think that he tranquilized her and then killed her. God almighty. These people are sick. The El Paso County's coroner's office conducted an autopsy. In addition to the standard toxicology testing, the coroner's office conducted additional toxicology. Oh my goodness. Let me get a sip of my drink. Thank you. The coroner's office conducted additional toxicology testing at the request of law enforcement for the presence of a chemical mixture known as BAM, or the combination of butyr- butyrophenol, azaprone, and metoctidamine. I'm not even, there's the words if you want to know what they are. I'm not even going to try that one again. Oh, daggone. Daggone it. The chief toxicologist tested Suzanne's bone marrow for the presence of BAM. All three of the individual chemicals that com- comprise BAM were present. Additionally, the metabolite for that B word was present. The presence of the B word metabolite eliminated the possibility of post-mortem BAM contamination. The metabolite's presence also indicated that her death was not immediate following BAM exposure because Suzanne's body had begun to metabolize the drug before she died. The coroner's office determined the cause of death and manner of death as follows: quote, homicide by unspecified means in the setting of BAM, intoxication. So basically, he shot her with the BAM dart and then did something to her because she was alive after she got shot with the dart of the BAM. Bleach on the bone sounds strange. I think bleach can kill DNA, but not the entire bones. Interesting. Yeah, I know people will scrub blood with bleach and they can still see it when they have that chemical, Lord, I know the name of it, but I forgot. The cancer report had a serial number on it too. Oh goodness. I'm wondering if that's how they identified her. Well, they said they got DNA, but Colorado gets a lot of sun in areas. Some bleached her bones. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Can't kill what's in bones though, like toxicology. Yeah. I wonder if the dart he used to penetrate. Yeah, if he shot her in close proximity, it might have hit the bone, but I think it could be in her bones because she metabolized it. Because if it's in more than one bone, then it's just a drug that gets into your bone marrow. Methadone will go into your bone marrow, and it takes a long time for it to come out. If it's a drug strong enough to get into your bone marrow, it's going to take a long time to come out. He's a sick SOB. And he thought he was smarter than law enforcement, in my opinion. Well, he was smart to get away with it for 5 years, but there's no reason to kill her. I know, Anna, right? She was being treated for some type of cancer where she had chemo. I had a port for years with my cancer. I'm sorry. That's crazy. What do they use the port for? Do they use it to put the chemo in, Tom? I'm glad that I'm assuming you don't have cancer anymore, and I'm glad to hear that. CSI gadgets can detect any wiped up blood. Yep. I think he slowly poisoned her, not necessarily through a dart. You think so, Roxanne? Hey, QT, did he put it in her port? That's interesting. Maybe. That's an interesting theory. Okay, a pharmacologist and medical doctor testified about the toxicology testing done to determine the presence of BAM in Suzanne's remains, about the chemical compound itself, and about the possible effects of that compound in humans. The expert explained that the toxicology testing done by the coroner's office met specific standards of reliability and accuracy. He further testified that BAM is a chemical mixture of 3 specific compounds used as a tool for sedating animals for medical treatment or movement. Back in 2020 and the years leading up to Suzanne's disappearance, BAM was sold by only one company in the United States and could only be obtained by prescription from a veterinarian. BAM must be administered into the bloodstream through intravenous or intramuscular injection to be effective, as the skin and GI tract do not absorb it effectively. BAM does not cause sedation instantaneously, but takes several minutes to take effect. BAM is designed not to be lethal and comes with reversal agents in the prescription kit. However, BAM is not FDA approved for any human use. For that reason, there is no scientific studies available that address the possible effects of the okay. For that reason, there are no scientific studies available that address the possible effects of the compound would have on humans. The pharmacology expert testified that the compound would render the recipient wholly immobile, vulnerable, and im- immobile to resist any constrictions to the recipient to the recipient's ability to breathe. Records were obtained from 4 BAM prescriptions related to Barry. Records were also obtained for BAM prescriptions for all the persons within the counties adjacent counties to where the Morphews lived and where Suzanne's remains were located. Those records showed that Barry obtained and filled several prescriptions for BAM while living in Indiana. Barry's last purchase of BAM by prescription was in March of 2018. Barry obtained multiple kits that each contained multiple doses just a few months before the Morphews moved to Colorado. Records further showed that no other private citizens or private businesses in any of the surrounding counties had purchased BAM prescriptions from 2017 to 2020. Colorado Parks and Wildlife and the National Park Service were the only entities that received prescriptions of BAM in those counties from 2017 through 2020. Investigators learned that each of these government entities enforced tight regulations to monitor the BAM prescription storage and use. None of the BAM from those agencies was unaccounted for. Ultimately, the prescription records show that when Suzanne disappeared, the only private citizen living in the entire area of the state had access to BAM was Barry Morphew. Wow. They indicted him after her body was found, but had to dismiss charge with prejudice. Huh. Hey, Queen Olive. Okay, I hope you enjoy your babies. He had like a pen or something in her car that would record everything she said. Oh my goodness. Yeah, for chemo infusions and blood testing. Interesting. And sometimes dialysis. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. Wait, you get to the part showing how many people in the area of Colorado had BAM in their possession. Yeah, that's crazy. He's the only one. Another program, they said BAM has to go into the vein. So I'm wondering if he did use the port PIC line for year for antibiotics. My landlord did. She had Lyme disease. I'm concerned because I get bit by ticks all the time. I pulled one off yesterday, a baby one that had a white dot. So I'm watching for that target for Lyme disease. This is pretty scary, shocking. The girls are standing by this creep. Oh my God. I live close to Barry. I've been hearing everything about this case for the last 5 years. People out here hate Barry. He eventually had to move to Arizona. Oh my goodness. That's why he went to Arizona. Colorado booted him. He should have darted Superintendent Douglas Carter. No doubt. That's damning. Yeah, it is. His defense will be that some hunter got it illegally. You think so, SD? It'll be interesting to hear. The DA dismissed deadlines with motions. Judge punished them by not allowing 14 experts, so they had to drop the charges temporarily. Lord, I can't speak. Okay, I, foreperson for the 12th Judicial District Grand Jury, do hereby swear and affirm that every true bill returned. So basically, that's the grand jury foreperson saying that he was indicted. Barry, also known as Lee Moore, who was born October 17th of 1967. He's 5'10", he weighs 190 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes, was indicted on a $3 million cash-only bond. No leaving the state of Colorado, GPS unit surrender of passport, compliance with mandatory court order. Lordy, lordy. All right, let me show you guys what Sandra made for us. This extensive timeline right here. Oh my goodness. There's pictures of them together. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. So I'm guessing that's his mugshot. She was so pretty. Look at her. Oh my goodness. How do you go from that to doing what they did? I wonder if his daughter still believes he's innocent too. Like after 5 years, they had to have seen something or heard something or noticed that he said something. Yeah, ticks are bad. They didn't have all the evidence they wanted, so they dismissed it. It was just an amount of time before they got their ducks in a row. Yeah. I wonder what they're up to too. And she was an excellent mom. Oh man. Well, there's the daughters y'all speak of, I'm assuming. They're beautiful too. I wonder who this is. Maybe a new lady? Look. They look like the perfect couple too. And then I'm assuming that's his arrest because y'all said he moved to Arizona. And this is a Mesa, Arizona police van. So he got extradited. So there him is on his arrest. That's the video. Is it a video? No, this is a screenshot, but I'm sure she's got the video in here. All right. Oh, here's the video. Hmm. Who was that dude, I wonder? We'll watch it again and I'll see if he was actually arrested as well. Evidence. Who's that dude? Like, that dude appears to be arrested as well, and he's wearing that highlighter construction things that I know well. Mr. Speculating does a, hard physical labor job, and he has them yellow shirts type of construction. I wonder who that is with him, or if it's something unrelated. Barry's going down. Yes, she did. She had a whole 'nother life ahead of her without him. She did. You gotta see the video. That coward almost got away with it. On Almost Got Away with It episode TV. He didn't. No, he didn't. Almost Got Away with It. Did he do one of those? Well, not yet, I'm assuming. All right, here's the timeline. Hold on, let me go here. Okay. See, look at this. Look at what she did. And she made a whole nother timeline. That's like written out where the it basically says everything. Hey, Mrs. O. Sandra is so awesome. All right, so here's the press conference. Hold on.
I appreciate the members of the media that are here today. I scheduled this briefing to provide an update on the investigation that has been in the hearts and minds of the people of Chaffee County since Mother's Day of 2020. Suzanne Morphew was reported missing on Mother's Day 5 years ago.
On Mother's Day, and she is a mother of the 2 daughters. Yeah, it might have been another guy that was just transported with him. You're right about that. Thank you, Abellis. Near future episode, that would be funny. It's really tough, and MS is so challenging to treat. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. I'm sorry you're dealing with that too, Sam. Oh, daggum. Sorry, y'all.
The grand jury has indicted Barry Morphew, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Chaffee County since Mother's Day of 2020. Suzanne Morphew was reported missing on Mother's Day 5 years ago. Law enforcement has never stopped working to obtain justice for this mother of 2, this daughter, this sister, and this beloved member of the Chaffee County community. Through the tireless efforts of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Saguache County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I can announce today that the 12th Judicial District Grand Jury returned an indictment. The grand jury has indicted Barry Morphew on the single count of murder in the first degree. Law enforcement, the Chaffee County community, and Colorado as a whole has never stopped fighting for justice for Suzanne.
I wonder, I mean, did they just find her body just recently? Because it's harder to try a case without a body. So I'm assuming they just found her body recently. And it's from where, like, he had put her somewhere where she had decomposed and stuff. And then he moved her body somewhere else. And then they finally found the body. So they were able to indict him. Is that what's going on? All of my lovelies that, no, it took 3 years to find her. Okay. That makes sense. I faced the same thing, but I kept hoping. Hang in there. Sending healing your way. That's so sweet, Anna. Yeah, hang in there, Sam. I've known people with MS too, and it is hard. I'm praying for you, sweetheart. 2023. Okay. So yeah, not long ago, maybe a year. Okay. And that would give them enough time to do all of the analysis from the coroner's office and then do the grand jury indictment. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Cold case homicides are tremendously difficult. They're difficult for the families of the victims and the communities who wait patiently for answers. While it may seem at times that the world forgets about these victims, I can assure you that my law enforcement partners and Colorado's law enforcement community do not forget. Every unsolved murder is a tragedy, and we must never give up on our efforts to find answers in these cases. My office will be prosecuting the indictment as Suzanne's remains were found in Saguache County, which is a county within my jurisdiction, the 12th Judicial District.
Hey, Ava. Excuse me. I'm sorry you didn't get your notification. I don't know why. I truly thought that she would never be found. Oh, man. They were trying to find a way to place him near where the body was found. Okay. It's kind of a miracle they found her, I think. Yeah, because she decomposed somewhere else, and then he moved her. Like, where did she originally decompose at? You know? Would have loved to have seen his face when he learned they found her. Pikachu face, yeah. Yeah, he shit his pants, I'm sure.
I am extremely appreciative of Michael Doherty, who is the elected district attorney in Boulder County. He has consistently committed material resources to small rural DA's offices like mine to assist in the sometimes Herculean efforts to bring justice for victims in rural areas of our state. His commitment to rural Colorado he's continued his commitment with this case. He's provided me with the assistance of a chief deputy in the Boulder County District Attorney's Office to assist me with the investigation and the prosecution. Colorado's community of prosecutors is committed to assisting wherever the need arises. In addition to Mr. Doherty's assistance, District Attorney John Walsh of the Denver District Attorney's Office has committed to providing me with appellate guidance during the case proceedings. So today I have with me Chaffee County Sheriff Andy Rorick. I stand united with Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker. I stand united in announcing this indictment. Through this process, I have seen firsthand how deeply Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker and the entire Sheriff's Department in Chaffee County cares about this case.
Ava, I'm new to this case too, so we're learning it together. He dumped her body in a ravine, sort of. Okay. Thank you, Michael. How are the leg birds? No babies? It is sad on Mother's Day.
I am proud and appreciative of our cross-jurisdictional partnership and their hard and excellent work. I also stand with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who has never wavered in its commitment to this investigation, providing essential intelligence and investigative resources and expertise through the years. I also recognize and appreciate our continued partnership with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation has done incredible work, and their CBI agents and analysts have worked very, very hard to advance the goal of finding answers in this investigation. Here representing the CBI is Agent in Charge Chris Adams with CBI's Pueblo office. I also stand with Saguache County Sheriff Dan Warwick, who is here with me as well. He and his office immediately answered the call to action when Suzanne's remains were found in the county he represents. Sheriff Warwick and his deputies are an essential part of this team, responding to the recovery of Suzanne's remains with the highest level of dignity and professionalism.
That's good to hear. It's not that often that I hear them stress that they handled the remains with the highest levels of dignity and professionalism. Like, that makes me feel like they went the extra mile as far as her remains being found and preserving them and making sure to show respect.
I also want to continue to recognize what I have come to expect in my years as a prosecutor, and that is multi-jurisdictional and multi-state cooperation and partnership. I want to recognize the Arizona Department of Public Safety, who immediately responded to our team's request for assistance in locating and arresting Barry Morphew in the Phoenix area. Mr. Morphew will be held by Arizona authorities pending extradition proceedings in that state. And upon conclusion of those proceedings, Mr. Morphew will be transported to Alamosa County to stand trial on the indictment. This indictment has been unsealed upon the arrest of Mr. Morphew. I asked for this briefing to provide you with an update and provide information to the community. Me and my team recognize the importance of being laser focused on the prosecution and to speak with one voice.
Content said, you know how the police say that the most dangerous time for a woman in a domestic violence situation is after she says it's over. That's what happened. I bet Barry claims it was the heat of the moment. And I think so as well. And I think they can prove it because they have the text message where she said, basically, I'm done. I just want to handle this civilly. I'm done with our relationship and I just want us to be civil with each other. And it was shortly after that, like that was the last thing that was sent. And so, and they've had it in the indictment. So I'm sure they're going to use it against them. How they treated him made me cry. So much dignity, love, and respect for him. It's hard to believe your father could do this. Unfortunately, he's not the first, nor will he be the last. I know. And that's sad. I do too. I hope he pays for what he did. I think he's been gaslighting those poor girls their whole life. Aw.
And so for that reason, all of the agencies that have been involved in getting us to this place, as well as the prosecutors that have been willing to assist me in this investigation and prosecution, they have all been instructed to send any media requests to my office. And so that's what I'd ask of you. In an effort to be transparent, I'd like to thank the the Office of the Judicial District in this district for making the indictment immediately available. And so you can get a copy of that indictment on the State Judicial's website. It is linked on a page labeled Cases of Interest, and it's under Alamosa. Barry Morphew is presumed innocent in this case and that presumption remains with him unless and until he is convicted at trial. And so once again, thank you for allowing me to provide an update to the community on this very important case.
I'm concerned, though, if it took them 5 years to arrest him, I'm concerned that there's still a slim chance that he could get out of these charges. Tom said being a narcissist, Barry wasn't going to let her leave on her terms. And that's exactly right. That's what happened. She said she wasn't happy anymore and he wasn't damn having it. And that's really sad. I saw a case the other day of a similar case that the fiance told him it's over and she was found deceased in a remote place. He just got caught after 13 years, but only gave him 3 for only having circumstantial evidence. Oh my goodness. I do too, Mrs. O. Like, I don't want to be mad at them or blame them because I'm sure they've been gaslighted their whole entire lives by their daddy and they love their daddy. That's their daddy, you know. She was having an affair and was on WhatsApp setting possible when he came home. That's what they were saying. She was having an affair on WhatsApp with somebody she knew, and so maybe he called her or something. It seems kind of planned, though. There's another case involving a couple that owned a gold buying company in Southern California. Same thing. We all know, don't worry, justice will be served. I hope so. I really do.
And I can take a couple of questions if you have them. Yes, sir.
What was Barry doing in the Phoenix area?
And thank you for the question. The question was, what was Barry doing in the Phoenix area? I appreciate the question, and that information is still being gathered. We have been working very, very hard to make sure that we run down anything we can with respect to this investigation, and our law enforcement officers will certainly be following that. Yes, sir.
In the indictment, you noted that pharmacology expert testified that BAM would render the recipient unable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. Do you believe the dosage of BAM was so great it killed her, or that she was so incapacitated she was strangled herself?
And thank you for that question. I am looking forward to having our team present all of those facts in a court of law. Obviously, I would like to be able to provide my comments, but my ethical obligations will not allow me to. However, I am very appreciative of the Judicial Department for making that indictment available, and I look forward to having our team present this case in court.
Paul's game on point. So basically, he asked if Barry incapacitated her and strangled her to death. They did reference they don't know the ability of a person to be able to breathe because it hasn't been tested on humans. So after he hit her with the dart, would she have been able to even breathe? But that does make me feel like it might be a possible strangulation. Hey, Justice Jane, which you wouldn't be able to tell after 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, all, Barry wasn't faithful to her anyway. He is a known womanizer. He looks like it. I'm not trying to say people look a certain way, but he appeared to be one of those to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Why now?
That's a great question. And so
Thank you.
We, as prosecutors in Colorado and law enforcement in Colorado, we are very dedicated to making sure that we don't forget the victims of cold case homicides. But we also understand that it is so important to make sure that we have done everything we can to bring a case to court. And we are proud of the work that we've done. Every victim of homicide, murder in Colorado deserves that kind of attention.
That's a good point, Roxanne. To be in her bones, it has to be long-term exposure. That is a good point because, anything I know that would get in the bones would have had to either, and they said bones plural. So, it would make me think it could possibly be long-term exposure. And who knows? I would like to know when this cancer thing started because maybe it wasn't cancer at all. Maybe it was him trying to poison her. It was a surprise to see him arrested again. Hallelujah. Yeah. No death penalty in Denver, though. Dang. She had moved on, and I don't feel like what she was doing was an affair. She was done. Yeah. I agree. I mean, I would think, yeah, me too, Lori Ann. I wonder if the hyoid bone was broken. I didn't mean to laugh, but it reminded me of Shannon Gilbert with Long Island serial killer hyoid bone being broken and them not saying that she did it herself. He should have just divorced her. How could he do that to his kids? Narcissism.
Deserves that kind of work from law enforcement. And I would say that having the opportunity to work on these cases and to bring justice for these victims has been very important to me. Yes. Yeah, let me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was Morphew surprised at all when he was taken place? Was he expecting this?
And thank you for that question. The question is whether or not Morphew, what Mr. Morphew's reaction was. And I can tell you that that's going to be part of the case, and we look forward to presenting that in front of a jury. Yes, sir.
So the male DNA was found in Suzanne's car. forward? Are you guys using that evidence for this trial? Tell us more about that.
And thank you for that question. The indictment has a wealth of information about that particular topic, as well as the probable cause that supports the arrest in this case. And obviously, we are going to do everything we can to make sure that justice is done for Suzanne. And that includes being as thorough as we can about the facts of the case.
Another question. When you arrest Barry in Arizona, so that's still investigating right now with Arizona law enforcement?
So the Arizona Department of Public Safety has been an incredible partner for us. They organized immediately when we asked them to respond when we received the indictment. So I very much want to thank the Arizona Department of Safety. About you, sir.
What will be the
So you said that he moved her at least 2 times from PC Justice. Is that verifiable? Like, have you verified that? That's interesting. Roxanne said, my heart hurts for the daughters. Their world is crumbling. It is. And that is sad. I bet his attorney will ask for a change of venue. Probably. I don't know, though. It depends on where they would suggest the change of venue be and if they have the death penalty. Like the other man with his wife, real estate lady. Oh, that's so sweet. Poor girls have been living a lie with that man. Yep. I think when he got out of jail, he moved her and dressed her in the bike clothing. I think so too. And that's actually where he messed up because they found her.
the biggest difference between the prosecution of this case and the time versus back in 2021?
And the question is, what would be the difference between the prosecution of this case and other prosecutions? You know, justice for cold case homicide victims remains a priority in the state of Colorado, both for prosecutors and for law enforcement. And that's despite any challenges that we may have had in the history of any particular case. That remains a priority for us. And so we have worked very hard to move forward in the case. This case is a different case, and I would refer you back to the indictment in this case. And we've worked very hard to move forward. Yes, sir.
On an emotional level or on a personal level, and it's okay if you repeat yourself, can you talk about the journey, your journey from the day this was dismissed until today? Just broad strokes. Just tell us that story.
Well, thank you for that question. The question is, what has this process looked like, essentially? What has this process been like for the family, for the community, for our law enforcement partners? And I can tell you that it has been a long road. It has been a long road, and the families of the victim have been so patient. The community has been so patient. But I can tell.
I'm really concerned about, like, with you guys saying that the daughter supported the dad. Like, what about Suzanne's family and their family on that side? Like, not only did they lose Suzanne, but I'm sure they lost her daughters too, their granddaughters, their nieces, because they followed their dad and believed in him. And so that's really sad to, because it split up the family.
Tell you that our law enforcement officers have never forgot, have never given up, and they have been working so hard to get to the place where we are today. And so it is never enough to say we're just going to forget about it because it's too hard. And so that has been the process for me. And I'll take maybe one more question here in the front.
Can you elaborate further on where Suzanne's remains were found in relation to Moffett? I know it's undisclosed, but can you provide more detail on where she was found?
So it was in and around the town of Moffett, and that raises an important question that I want to address. And so the remains of Suzanne Morphy were found in Saguache County, and that's obviously a county in my jurisdiction. And so jurisdiction in this county is appropriate. I can tell you that I have reached out to and contacted my friend and colleague, elected District Attorney Jeff Lindsay, who currently covers Chaffee County. He is in full support of our efforts to prosecute this case here and has committed to providing any resources that we need to prosecute this case.
How did you know Morphew was in Arizona?
And the question is I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How did you know Barry was in Arizona?
And I appreciate that question. We obviously have never given up on this investigation. And so working with our law enforcement partners, we were able to make that determination.
Yeah, I'm sure they kept track of him over the years. Tom said he also staged a bicycle, then moved the helmet 1 mile away from the bike in the opposite direction of where her body was found. Justice said maybe he wanted her found so the girls could cash in on an insurance claim. That's a good thought, and I hope you have a good day, Red Moon. But I don't think he wanted her found at all, because he was getting away with literally getting away with murder up until the point that she was found. I think that considering that you guys have told me he was arrested beforehand, I think he got nervous and thought that she was going to be found wherever she was at. So he moved her to where he thought she wouldn't be found, is my thought process as of right now with the information that I know. But then you guys had said she was found in like an open field. Excuse me. So that's really weird. Like, why would you move her from wherever she was to an open field?
Could anyone else possibly face charges?
So right now we have the indictment in front of us, and we're committed to working hard to get that done. So, and this will be the last question. Thank you so much.
Just one last question. From a community perspective, this community's been through a lot with the district attorney's office, and we've watched you take it over and repair it, stand here with law enforcement, something this community might not have seen in the past. We've watched you build a staff. Now we're at the point where we've got all kinds of television cameras here because you've done what you've done in this particular case. Speak to what kind of satisfaction you have and gotten here, and is the job done with your staff, and can you now move forward?
Well, and thank you. The question relates to the status of our district attorney's office and where we've been in the last 3 years. And thank you for the question. The effort that we undertook to come to the San Luis Valley, that I undertook to come to the San Luis Valley and build the district attorney's office, was quite tremendous. But I can tell you that the collaboration of prosecutors across the state to assist me, to assist my staff, to assist law enforcement has been absolutely tremendous. It is a testament to how strong our law enforcement community is and how united the prosecutors in the state of Colorado are. And so assisting me in building the office in the San Luis Valley, that is a testament to the assistance that I've received across the state. So thank you for the question.
Thank you for what you've done.
One last question, and when do you expect Barry Morphew to show up in court?
Thank you. So he's currently being held by the authorities in Arizona. He will go through a process of extradition, and when that process concludes, he will be then transported back to Colorado. So thank you so much.
Okay. Let's go back to my timeline. Y'all had a couple of good comments I wanted to read to you. Excuse me. Queen Olive Ruth Ann said the place she was found was apparently a known dumping ground, if I remember correctly. So that would make me think he wanted to be found. He wanted her to be found. He did bury her in a shallow grave, but the weathering and animals exposed her over time. Okay. Thank goodness this wasn't Canton, Boston PD, or there would be no justice here. Oh, man. Hopefully it's not all like that. Hold on, we're going to go back to this. So Hiosandra, again, my love, made us this timeline. So let's go through this. Oh, no, wrong page. So May 10th of 2020, Suzanne Morphew disappears. Suzanne, 49, leaves for a bike ride near her Saladia, Maysville, Colorado home on Mother's Day and never returns. Her bike and helmet are later found in separate locations with no signs of an accident. May 11th through 22nd of 2020 is the initial searches. Neighbors and authorities helped the Neighbors and authorities searched the area. Barry Morphew posted a Facebook plea on May 17th urging help in finding her. May 5th of 2021, almost a year later, is the first indictment. Barry is arrested and charged with first-degree homicide, tampering with evidence, and attempting to influence a public servant. Oh my goodness. So then a year later, April 2022, the charges are dropped. Just before trial, prosecutors dismissed the case without prejudice. Jury blocked key witnesses due to prosecutorial discovery failures. Nobody had been found. Lead-in prosecutor Linda Stanley later disbarred for misconduct. Oh my God. So that's why they were asking about the DA and stuff like that, because all of this, excuse my language, but there was fuckery afoot. SD, I'll threw this out. The older daughter had very contentious relationship with Suzanne. They fought often. What if she fired the dart at mom? Barry covered up and finished her off. That's interesting, and that might be why. That's an interesting theory, and you know, we speculate over here. It's definitely a possible speculation. I'm wondering if that's why they asked if anybody else was going to be arrested. But you know, I don't want to blame a victim at the same time, so I want to be careful with that. But they did ask, to be fair, if anybody else was going to be arrested, which would make me think other people that lived in the house. I really hope he doesn't get by with this. I hope he doesn't either. Like, for them to have arrested him and then he be released and then come back and arrest him, I would think they've got more solid evidence this time. I hope anyway. When I watched him pleading on the news, I knew he was lying. He couldn't have been any less genuine, not a tear. Oh my goodness. I didn't see that. Last time Barry was arrested, the prosecution didn't turn everything in to the defense in time. Okay. Right. I probably just read that. Okay. So May of 2023, malicious prosecution lawsuit. Barry files a $15 million lawsuit alleging prosecutorial misconduct. The suit is dismissed later. September 22nd of 2023 is when the remains were discovered. Suzanne's skeletal remains found in a shallow grave in Moffat, Saginaw County. Autopsy rules poisoning homicide, identifying BAM in her system. April of 2024, autopsy confirms BAM. The autopsy confirms death by unspecified means in the setting of BAM intoxication. June 18th of 2025 is the grand jury indictment. A 12th Judicial District grand jury in Alamosa indicts Barry on first-degree homicide charges more than 5 years after her disappearance and 3 years after the discovery. June 20th of 2025, Barry is arrested in Arizona on the new indictment and held on $3 million cash bail. Extradition to Colorado is in progress. As evidence is BAM poisoning used for wildlife sedation was found in Suzanne's bones. Barry was the only private citizen in the area with prescription access. Telematics and phone records, mobile and vehicle data show gaps and inconsistencies on May 9th through 10th of 2020. Relationship context, investigators noted marital strain. Suzanne was reportedly planning a separation and had sent text suggesting she'd had enough. Previous prosecutorial mishaps, 2021 charges collapsed due to withheld exculpatory evidence, male DNA, leading to dismissal. Oh, and she dropped me a 48 hours episode. See, she's so damn sweet. I love Hio. I can't play the 48 hours episode on live, but I will share it with you guys because they will strike the crap out of me. Maybe. Let's see if I can post it over here. No. No. Well, it's Colorado mom Suzanne Morphew's husband arrested for her murder the second time. You guys can find it on YouTube if you want it. All right, we're going to come back over here. Timeline and background. Suzanne's death. Legal expert discusses Barry's indictment. Yeah, this is a 4-minute video. Let's watch.
3 years after
Hold on.
Morphew is once again 3 years after the case was dropped, Barry Morphew is once again charged for his wife Suzanne's murder. Morphew is now back in custody again and facing new murder charges. 9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson is joining us now as we continue our coverage today. And Scott, Morphew's case was dropped in April 2022. I mean, just days before he was set to go to trial. I remember everybody's mouth kind of dropped open in the newsroom. What changed?
That's a good point, Justice Jane. I think he wanted her found because her cancer port device was still with her remains. That's interesting. That does make a lot of sense, because why didn't he remove the cancer port? But why would he want her found if he had gotten away with it for so long? It's got to be an insurance claim, like you guys had stated before. Yeah, when she was recently missing, pleading to find her, we can tell, like many others that have done the same thing, if unaliving their significant others, we can tell for sure. Oh yeah, usually it's easy to tell. BAM in her system, and about 5 people in that huge area have BAM. Her husband happens to be one of those 5. BAM Barry's guilty, right? Right? And medical devices can be tracked via serial number. Yeah. Plunder has been on this case from the beginning. Okay. Plunder is a good channel. If you guys want to know more about this, I definitely recommend her. When did she disappear? May of 2020. May 10th to be exact. Mother's Day. Try to blame a wild lion or cougar. Really? You think the BAM drug will be the smoking gun? Considering that he's the only one in the area to have it, yeah.
Different today?
Well, the prosecutorial misconduct in the original proceeding was literally outrageous. What looked to be a key DNA evidence actually wasn't even turned over to the defense in timely fashion. So that's why the case was dismissed. It's noteworthy that these charges are now filed in the 12th Judicial District, because the remains were found in Saguache County. And that's why we have the district attorney for the 12th Judicial District, a different judicial district this time, in charge of the case. But that's why the case was dismissed originally. It was prosecutorial misconduct so pervasive that the judge felt that the case needed to be dismissed.
Yeah. Hey, Abraham, good to see you. Abraham said if there was a possibility of insurance claim, then it would be included in the affidavit as a motive. You think so? I would wonder why else would he want her found? Like, considering he got away with it for so long. And with that, you guys said that her body was found like 3 years after she disappeared, and it's been 5 years since she disappeared now. So there was a time period there of at least a year, possibly 2, that he was out and free and walking around after her remains had been found. So I would think that they would have tried to file for the insurance claim during that time period if they had one. So I don't know. That is interesting. Yeah, I like you guys have lots of unique looks and opinions about these things. That's why I like to talk about it with you guys. You guys are awesome. Hey, and finding for life insurance, didn't he borrow the insurance cash from his daughters? Oh, I haven't heard that. Maybe. That's interesting. How did prosecutors know to look for this drug? Who did he tell? I bet this is not detectable on a standard time. It's not, because they said they had to do a special test. So that's another good point. How did they know how to look for that drug specifically? 3 years. Well, okay, I'll go back to the timeline in a minute and we'll see.
Let's talk about the circumstantial evidence here. We're talking about a tranquilizer, according to the indictment, that was found in her bone marrow, that they were able to test in her bone marrow. And the last line of this indictment is it feels pretty like terse and strong. The only person that had access to this specific type of tranquilizer was Barry Morphew. That's essentially the last line of the indictment information here. Talk about that.
It is. Apparently, this it has to be done with a prescription to get this particular tranquilizer for deer. And
Oh, sorry. I don't like the farming of deer thing. That makes me nervous. Like, you're taking that deer's ability to be able to roam free and pinning them up somewhere. Like, that's just really sad, in my opinion. When they searched the house gun safe, there was a dart rifle that was, oh yeah, that's right. Yep. And they found the cap in the dryer. You're right. Thank you for reminding me of that. I just read that. I've got to get my daggum memory stuff again. Abellis, thank you so very much for gifting 10 memberships. That was so awesome of you. I appreciate it. That was so sweet. Thank you so very much. Those went to Shelly M., Crimley, Heather Ibarra Taylor, Dolo, Bobby, Nene C., Surfer Girl, Crystal Bell, Catch, Long Island Serial Killer, and Ann Moore. If you are gifted from Abellis and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Abellis thank you. Thank you so very much, Abellis. You're so very sweet. Thank you so much. I will grab the Polar Express and take it a little bit slower when I pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so very much, Abellis. I'm doing okay. Thank you. When the family moved from Indiana, Barry had a trailer full of deer antlers. He said he had a deer farm, which I think is bullshit. Oh, wow. He might be saying that because there's like a certain number of deer you're supposed to kill, evidently. Like, you have to tag the deer so they can keep up with like how many deer you kill in a season. Maybe that's why. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah, Parabola. Sure. If I can help, I will. Basil is under the kitchen table right now, but I set the air conditioner where it would blow directly on him because we were at the lake and I got to go back to the lake. So I think he's just hanging out under there because it feels nice.
And Barry Morphew was able to do that previously in a different state. And the only folks here in Colorado that have had that available to them in 2020 was the Department of Wildlife and Forestry, and it's not their tranquilizer. So the presence of the metabolite in the remains of Suzanne Morphew was extraordinarily powerful evidence. But there certainly is a wealth of other circumstantial evidence which seemingly implicated Morphew in the death of his wife.
Yeah.
But everything is circumstantial, right? Strong nonetheless. But like, how easy is it to convict somebody with only circumstantial evidence? Like, what?
From what I understand, it's not very easy, and you definitely want more than just circumstantial evidence, usually.
What outcome do you see with this?
You know, the jury is told that there's no real difference between direct evidence, I saw this, and circumstantial evidence. And the reality is this: eyewitnesses can be mistaken, and you can misinterpret circumstances, but circumstances are circumstances, and they don't lie. They're not mistaken. So in any case, the fact that a case may be only circumstantial is actually a misstatement. It could be very powerful evidence. And in this case, that included phone records, odd activities attributed to Morphew, and a variety of other factors that sure seemed to implicate him in his wife's death. It was that strange DNA in the glove box of her vehicle that really was a problem, at least initially. And certainly when you read the indictment, it looks like they're downplaying the significance of that DNA, which at least initially was reported to be connected to sexual assaults in 2 other states. We weren't present, obviously, for the grand jury. It's a secret proceeding, but there was testimony seemingly downplaying the significance of that evidence, which seemed key at the time.
Yeah. So he's been picked up in Arizona. He's currently in jail in Arizona right now. What's going to happen in the next coming days, coming weeks with him?
He'll be brought before a judge in Arizona for extradition. Since there really isn't a defense to extradition other than identity, I would anticipate the possibility that he would waive extradition. The bond is $3 million cash, which is a significant bond, but now in Colorado, based on a Supreme Court case, you can't be held without bond even for first-degree murder. So he may be here next week. If he contests extradition, more like several weeks or even several months. But there really isn't much of a defense to an extradition warrant other than proving that you aren't the person that's named in the indictment, which he obviously will be unable to do.
Interesting. Yeah. Para, I answered your question. I'm not sure, honey, because Basil doesn't go outside and the geese haven't had issues with that. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I could be more help. Alex said in Michigan, farmers can get a permit and they are allowed to commit homicide on so many a year. We have tons of deer at my house and not enough hunters. Also, because of hormones, etc., deer have so many twins. Really? I didn't know that. Interesting. Circumstantial evidence certainly does make it easier for the defense to use as doubt for the jury, but smart people that can connect the dots will see right through it. Yeah. He did waive extradition today. That's interesting. There's a picture floating around with all the deer antlers on a trailer. We'll have to look at it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be coming back to Colorado then, expected.
Yep.
All right, Scott Robinson, thank you so much.
Okay. So that was that. Let's go back to this and see what we can pull up next. Okay, so this is from the news, and it's a look back at key moments amid Barry Morphew's indictment. I bet you he's sitting there thinking he's going to get out of this one too, just like he got out of the other one.
A bombshell update on one of Colorado's most high-profile murder cases from the
no.
last decade. We learned today that a grand jury indicted Barry Morphew earlier this week. He was arrested and taken into custody in Gilbert, Arizona. The 12th Judicial District Attorney's Office will provide an update on this case at 6 o'clock our time. Barry Morphew is accused of killing his wife, Suzanne Morphew, around Mother's Day 2020. The incident states Suzanne Morphew had a combination of chemicals in her system known as BAM. It goes on to say only one private citizen living in that entire area of the state had access to BAM at the time, Barry Morphew. Barry Morphew has always denied any involvement in Suzanne's disappearance. 9 News reporter Mark Salinger has a look back at some of the key moments from this case.
Investigators say this is the final picture Suzanne took on the afternoon of May 9th, 2020. It's the last piece of evidence that shows her alive.
So that picture is the last picture she took. Oh my gosh. It makes it so much more sad for me when there's a picture on the day that they died, like with the victims. She's smiling. She looks happy, beautiful as ever. She took that picture for the man in Michigan she was having the affair with, it says. Interesting. And see it right, though. I mean, they will arrive at the same conclusion as with direct evidence that the person is guilty. I hope so. I had a deer that passed away on my porch about 2 months ago called Fish and Game, and they looked at it, and it had wasting disease. Poor thing looked like she just went to sleep. Oh, that's so sad. She is so beautiful. His daughters have always taken up for Barry. They never come out and pleaded with the public over their mother. I didn't know that.
Sent the picture to a man in Michigan she was having an affair with. Suzanne was reported missing the following afternoon. The first deputies to arrive at the Morphew home found her mountain bike nearby in the woods off the road.
Can you try to call the husband and see what type of bike she has?
My daughter, she's at Barry's house.
Okay, all right.
Her husband, Barry, arrived home that evening after he says he was on a work trip in Broomfield. He immediately asks if an animal could have killed him.
Lion? Yeah, it was just like
Was it no lion? Mountain?
For months, state and federal investigators searched for Suzanne and any clues that might lead to answers. On May 13th, 2020, her bike helmet was found near the road. On May 22nd of that year, the FBI searched through a construction site in Salida that Barry had been working on.
I believe.
So, with him asking that right out the gate, could an animal have got her? That's what he was staging for, and that tells you right there. He was staging to try to make it look like an animal got her, but he's not that smart, in my opinion.
The house is just below us right now.
In September of 2020, Suzanne's brother Andy couldn't stand by and watch any longer. He organized a team of dozens of volunteers from around the country to search for Suzanne. Each search turned up few results.
Please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back.
It wasn't until May 5th, 2021, nearly a year after Suzanne went missing, that Barry was arrested.
And I wouldn't bring charges unless I was confident.
District Attorney Linda Stanley charged Barry with murder in the disappearance of his missing wife. She didn't reveal what evidence she had, but promised the public there was enough to convict him.
And it's about all the individuals that knew her and loved her and cared about her.
After a year of preliminary hearings and pretrial court appearances, prosecutors dropped the charges against Barry, saying they don't have a case without the testimony of the expert witnesses. The judge ruled to exclude from trial.
That's what innocence looks like right there.
Mark Salinger, 9 News.
I'd like to know where that woman is now, talking about that's what innocence looks like. Yeah. Not very innocent looking to me, sir, ma'am. Okay. Let's see what this is. Excuse me. Those are articles. Okay. We got one more video that's part of this article that I'll share with you guys before I have to go for the day. Mountain lions out here don't attack humans. Tons of deer and other critters for them to eat. Right. There's no reason for them to attack humans. It's not very often that it happens. Usually, if it does, think like probably 99.99% of the time it's because it has rabies or something, or a human has encroached on their den or breeding area. Barry has aged a lot in the last few years. That's what stress will do. Stress will do it. Suzanne's father died of a broken heart. They couldn't find her. Oh, man. Yeah, his lawyer. She needs to get the hell out of town. Made up stupid lie by pitied. Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, the man arrested is innocent. Okay. Cougars have killed toddlers. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. But they're small. They look like animal, you know, maybe like the animals they eat. That is what a guilty conscience will do to you. So sad about the daughters. I get the feeling that they were mad at their mom over the affair and blame her for everything. Yet dad had affairs and that's okay. Such a double standard. Yep. All right. So this is a timeline of the Suzanne Morphew case. We'll watch this real quick before I have to go.
When you hire a local registered agent.
Hold on. Hold on just a minute. We had an ad.
Our Wyoming expert.
A bombshell update on one of Colorado's most high-profile murder cases from the last decade. We learned today that a grand jury indicted Barry Morphew earlier this week. He was arrested and taken into custody in Gilbert, Arizona. The 12th Judicial District Attorney's Office will provide an update on this case at 6 o'clock our time. Barry Morphew is accused of killing his wife, Suzanne Morphew, around Mother's Day 2020. The incident states Suzanne Morphew had a combination of chemicals in her system known as BAM, B-A-M. It goes on to say only one private citizen living in that entire area of the state had access to BAM at the time, Barry Morphew. Barry Morphew has always denied any involvement in Suzanne's disappearance. 9 News reporter Mark Salinger has a look back at some of the key moments from this case.
Investigators say this is the final picture Suzanne took on the afternoon of May 9th.
So this is basically the one we just watched, but we'll watch it again. Hey, Lana Lee. It is very sad. Yep, them green bologna sandwiches. You better get used to them.
9th, 2020. It's the last piece of evidence that shows her alive. She sent the picture to a man in Michigan she was having an affair with. Suzanne was reported missing the following afternoon.
If that's the road up there, he literally just drove to the road and threw her bike down by a ravine. Like, why would your bike even be there coming down this slope like that? Like, that don't even make sense. You're not going to be riding down this slope like that. I mean, unless he's trying to act like she was riding on the road and then somebody snatched her and threw the bike down. But then he suggests a mountain lion. So, hey, Super-O. The daughter, for some reason, the daughter reminds me of Lot's daughters. $3 million cash. I don't think he has that. I don't think he does either. Bam, you got caught and arrested. Exactly. That somebody said he was staying in a camper in a rundown trailer park, so probably not. Let the justice bell continue to ring for Suzanne Morphew. Her remains were found on September 22nd, 2003. While people were looking for another missing lady, I feel positive about D.A. Ann Kelly. That woman who was talking she seemed to really know her stuff. I feel positive about it too.
The first deputies to arrive at the Morphew home found her mountain bike nearby in the woods off the road.
Really?
Can you try to call the husband and see what type of bike she has?
My daughter, she sent me Gary's house.
Oh, okay. All right.
Her husband, Barry, arrived home that evening after he says he was on a work trip in Broomfield. He immediately asks if an animal could have killed him.
Lion? Yeah, it was just like lion. No, a lion? Mountain lion?
For months, state and federal investigators.
You're right. Exactly right. Parabola suggesting the mountain lion was just weird. I didn't realize mountain lions rode bikes. I didn't either. Michael Green Chili Chicken.
Investigators searched for Suzanne and any clues that might lead to answers. On May 13th, 2020, her bike helmet was found near the road.
Me too.
On May 22nd of that year, the FBI searched through a construction site in Salida that Barry had been working on.
I believe the house is just below us right now.
In September of 2020, Suzanne's brother Andy couldn't stand by and watch any longer. He organized a team of dozens of volunteers from around the country to search for Suzanne. Each search turned up few results.
Please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back.
It wasn't until
So that was the plea I were talking about. He looks more scared for himself there than anybody else, but I don't know. He's shaking his head no too, which was telling. Watch him shake his head no the whole time.
Please, we'll do whatever
Shaking
it
his
takes
head
to bring
no.
you back.
It wasn't
First sign of deception right there. And wore bike helmets. Yep. God bless Andy and family. I ain't never seen a mountain lion riding a bike with protective gear either, or driving a scooter.
Until May 5th, 2021, nearly a year after Suzanne went missing, that Barry was arrested.
And I wouldn't bring charges unless I was confident.
District Attorney Linda Stanley charged Barry with murder in the disappearance of his missing wife. She didn't reveal what evidence she had, but promised the public there was enough to convict him.
And it's about all the individuals that knew her and loved her and cared about her.
After a year of preliminary hearings and pretrial court appearances,
Both daughters holding his hands like that, and then the lawyer. That's what innocence looks like right there. I'd like to see her. I hope it is televised so I can see her ass in court. Bye, Jenny. Love you, sweetheart. Barry's full of shit. He is.
prosecutors dropped the charges against Barry, saying they don't have a case without the testimony of the expert witnesses the judge ruled to exclude from trial.
That's what innocence looks like right there.
Mark.
Oh, yeah, you smug little woman, you. I want to see you in court, and how we're talking about innocence looking right there. Both girls smiling ear to ear.
Salinger, 9 News.
There's power. Lord have mercy. I'll share these pictures again before we go that we have. Oh, we can watch the arrest video again real quick. So it was real short. The walk of shame. Barry is the type of man that makes fun of law enforcement. Catch me if you can mentality. Yeah. He seems like that type, just narcissism. Yeah, on Mother's Day, no more mama. Like, I'm wondering if they're just supporting him because they at least have him left since they don't have their mama. They're trying to keep one parent at least, but Tom said, not really. I would never do that to a woman. I'm glad. I hope nobody would, but you know, we're out here with that. I would think if you're hanging out with us, you're not that type. Oh, thank you for being here with us. And I hope that y'all also have a good weekend. I feel like I haven't done much justice to it because I don't know the case very well, but I'm glad I was able to bring y'all what I had. Yeah, that's them walking out of court. Who is this woman? I want to know who this woman is. My commentaries are cracking you up. It's good to see you, Mercedes. I hope when pressed the facts of the case, the daughters made the right decision. Yeah. Barry will not have these female attorneys again. He has a pro bono attorney that is doing his case for publicity. They haven't named his attorney yet. It's a male attorney, I believe. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. If it wasn't for Barry, his daughters would have both of their parents. That is very true. My gosh. Why? Mm, my goodness. Lena said, they were a beautiful family. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. She probably picked a narcissist like so many women. I'm a narcissist magnet. It took me 40 years to figure that out. Yeah, it's hard. You want somebody that's confident, but then you accidentally mess around and get with a narcissist. I've been with a few myself. Sucks. That woman is the woman he was trying to pick up on at a bar before he was arrested. Okay, thank you for that. How sick. Well, I'm gonna go. I gotta head back out to the lake. I actually left the lunch meat and cheese here in the refrigerator to make sandwiches. So it's like 3:30. They have chips and little snack cakes and stuff, but I said I'll bring the lunch meat back and I'll make it to where it's not a 3-hour live stream so I can get that back to y'all. So I definitely need to go. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Yes, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up on your way out. Thank you so much for that. Justice Jane said the other woman Barry was messing with, they call her Shosho. Shosho. Mm. I will. I got in the lake and it was very nice. Yes, this was awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you. I hope Suzanne gets justice after all this time. It was like the Watts family, perfect little family. And I hope you have a good day. All right, y'all, I'm going to go. If nobody has told you, you are important, you are enough, you are special, and you are loved. And I will see y'all. Actually, no, I won't see you Monday. I have surgery on Monday. I will make a post. So I don't know exactly when I'll be back. I do plan on putting out videos at least. We might do like where I get a video ready if I can. And then I stream it like I do a premiere and then I'm in the chat with y'all. I don't know if I'll be able to talk for a little while after my surgery. So depending on that, I'll be back Tuesday, probably Wednesday at the latest. I would think I'd be able to talk by Wednesday, but I'll be dropping videos. So it might be a little while before we talk again. I will keep you updated with post. Yeah. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. So with that, I love you guys. I hope that you know you are enough, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And I will see y'all again soon and keep you updated. Y'all have a good weekend. Love y'all. Bye.